Hello and welcome to the Find Your Ultra podcast. You're listening to your host Vipin Sharma, and you will listen to him till the end of this episode, or at least that's what he really truly hopes. Before we proceed with today's episode, I want to share with you a statistic. Statistic? Statistic. However it's pronounced. And I want to share with you a statistic and make a request. The podcast downloads are in thousands already, and I'm immensely grateful for that. The number of people who follow the podcast is still very small. It's only a fraction of the people who listen to the podcast. I think a total of 75% of the people who listen to the podcast haven't subscribed or followed. Please follow the podcast on Spotify. That's the only way we can grow and, bring you highest quality content. We are 20 episodes in. Some people may have the impression that it's a running podcast, but it's not. I mean, in some ways it is. I am a runner and the podcast is called Find Your Ultra, and we've had a few runners as guests on the podcast. So, it's only natural for people to think that it is only about running, but it's not. It's a lot more than that. As the podcast grows bigger in influence, I would love to have people from all walks of life, like all kinds of sports persons, to give us a peek into their life, their sport, their version of an ultra. I would love to speak with boxers, wrestlers, mountaineers, chess players, Paralympic athletes, swimmers, all sports really. And I'd love to have experts on nutrition, mindset, meditation, spirituality, personal growth, finance, relationships. Why not? I need to learn about all of these, and I'm sure you do too. And that's why I want to take you along in this journey. I'll bring on artists, writers, and designers and entrepreneurs. So Find Your Ultra podcast is then clearly not about running only. It is going to expose us to inspiring people, relatable conversations, and new ways of thinking, no matter which field they're from. This will be a podcast that you can turn to for inspiration when you're feeling low, for education when you need to know the right way to eat, the right way to train, how to fix your relationships, how to fix your finances or habits, or how to build an indestructible mindset, or how to improve productivity, or how to navigate the difficult times, or most importantly, how to be at peace and learn how not to do anything, which means every once in a while, switch off, unplug, disconnect all the external stimulus. Stop everything that the world is throwing at you and connect with yourself. Learn to prioritize yourself. As someone wise said, that the best thing you can do for the world is to take care of yourself. And that's going to be one of the main themes of this podcast as we do more episodes. It's only when you take care of yourself that you're able to present your best version to the world. It's only when you look after yourself that you can look after others better. दूसरों की जय से पहले खुद को जय करें. So the main thing of the podcast, as I see it evolving, is going to be around transformation. It's going to be about change, bringing about positive change in our lives. I would love to deep dive into the subject of change and transformation with various guests over the coming weeks and months, and we have a stunning lineup for July. To set the stage for this, I will share with you today my habit change efforts so far. Something major happened this week, and I feel it's worth sharing. My running streak is broken. Yeah. It is a big deal. I mean, for nobody, but for me, it is a big deal. Let me just share what it really means, what's been up. I ran 531 days in a row. I did a running streak. Now, for those who don't know, doing a streak basically means that you run a pre-decided minimum number of kilometers every day. My streak distance was 5 kilometers. The whole point of a streak is that you can't miss a day. So it's not like if I can't make time today, I'll skip today and run double the distance tomorrow. I can't do that. And if I run, let's say 15 kilometers today, it's not like I can skip the next 3 days. So you have to do the day's work. Today's run will happen today. It cannot happen tomorrow. What will happen tomorrow will be tomorrow's run, not today's run. So every day you complete your day's distance before your day ends. I did that for 531 331 days in a row without missing a day. Yes, it's not going for a Guinness Book of World Records because one is not that significant an effort as far as the records are concerned. There are people who are doing much more amazing things, but this holds significance only in my personal life, like from where I have come. When you look at that context, only then it makes sense, only then it looks significant. So this journey of running every day has taught me hell of a lot about myself. It has changed the way I think about my capabilities. It won't be an exaggeration if I said it's nothing short of life-changing. How? I'm glad you asked. That's what I'm about to tell you in today's episode. Streaks are controversial, and understandably so, because they have some potential downsides as well. So I'll share with you how it's been for me, some good and bad things I've experienced in this effort, so you can take a call, whether streaks are for you or not. Firstly, I'll admit streaks are not for everyone. If you're a disciplined person who is self-motivated all the time and has no trouble getting things done fairly regularly, then there's no reason for you to do a streak. Like, why put that additional stress on yourself? You don't need to. I'll give you an example. My friend Binay Sa, one of the greatest runners in India, he's a close friend of mine. He lives very close by. We're good friends. Binay loves to run and he's disciplined. Like, he does not miss a day. He does not miss a day. He does not miss a day of running. He does not miss a day of strength training. He does not miss his routine post-run. He does it by the book, like he does it all the time. So he really, like, it makes no sense for him to put additional pressure on himself to do a streak. But someone like me, like, I used to be highly inconsistent. I would go run 25 kilometers back to back on 4 days and then 0 for the next 15 days. Sometimes I would do 8 to 10 kilometers every day for 2 weeks and then nothing for a week. It was all over the place, like no structure, no consistency. Forget structured training, just training itself wasn't happening regularly enough. And as we know, you can't improve upon the habits that you don't have. So I first had to build a habit of running, like showing up every day. So I was desperate to improve my habits, be more consistent with workouts. But I cannot begin to tell you how many times I tried to make a change, stuck to it for a few days, and then gave up. It becomes a loop. It became a loop. Giving up became a habit. I was really tired of starting numerous getting healthier pursuits and giving up. How will you feel when you're in that situation? Similar, right? Low on confidence. You feel every attempt will just end up in failure again because that's what the past record says, right? This is exhausting beyond words. Because every time you decide to try again, make a new attempt, you have to ignore the past and believe that this time will be different, even though you have no basis to believe that. And when that also fails, it dents your confidence like nothing else does. When that happens repeatedly, you begin to lose all your self-belief and eventually all self-respect. It becomes really awkward to face friends and even family members who would ask you, "Oh, the new thing that you started, how's it going?" It becomes really embarrassing to reply, "Chhod diya." And hear from them, "Acha, fir se chhod diya." You kind of start avoiding meeting people because you don't want to face that awkward moment. Because you don't want to face them. But the biggest damage isn't even apparent to anyone. The biggest damage is that you start avoiding yourself. Because you're ashamed of your own efforts and failures. Somewhere you know you could have tried harder, but you gave up. And with time, you stop reflecting and avoid having any authentic conversations with yourself. अपने आप से भरोसा उठ जाने से बुरा कुछ नहीं होता. अपने आप के साथ क्रेडिबिलिटी रखना, खुद पर भरोसा बरकरार रखना बहुत ज़रूरी है. क्योंकि आपको ही खुद पर भरोसा नहीं रहेगा तो किसको रहेगा? So then one has no choice but to try again, try better. So in 2021, I started a 100-day streak of running 10 kilometers every day. But I ended it at 50 days. I gave up. But this time, I lasted longer than before. Then I started another streak of running 8 kilometers every day, along with a meditation streak, a journaling streak, and eating healthy streak, and whatnot. This was started in September of 2021 with the idea of making the best use of the last 100 days of 2021. This also I gave up in, I think, another 30-40 days into the streak. I gave up. What would you do? Like, what can you do? I tried again. Just made one change. I became a little more humble, and instead of 10k or 8k, I chose to run 5k every day. So on 11th of January 2022, I started another streak. The distance this time was 5 kilometers every day, minimum. On most days I ran more than that, but the minimum threshold was 5 kilometers. Come what may, I ran this. This was the most successful streak I had ever done. This was the most consistent I had ever been with anything in my life. This time, I was successful. Failures का सिलसिला तोड़ दिया इस वाले effort ने. It wasn't a breeze. I mean, it wasn't easy. It was very tough. A couple of instances really stand out. One was when we traveled to Ranikhet. I traveled to Ranikhet with my wife and my little daughter, who was less than a year old at the time. We had anticipated a journey of 9 hours, but with plenty of breaks, it turned out to be close to 12 hours. And then by the time we got to the hotel, it was 9 p.m. So 9 p.m. in Ranikhet, we checked in at around 9:30. Everyone had to have dinner. Like, who everyone? My wife and, little baby. And I hadn't had dinner. So, we were due to have dinner, but I had my day's 5k left. I headed out. Like, I really wanted to give up there. This was tough. I had to decide because it felt like stupidity, You're out on a holiday with your family. Why would you want them to suffer like this? Wait for you for dinner. It's ridiculous. It was a tough decision, but I didn't give up. I went out to run. Now the challenge was, I asked at the reception, where can I run? They said, you can't go out and run at this time on the road because there are usually leopards around. So I said, but I don't have a choice, dude. I have to run. So he said, okay, जहाँ नीचे light दिख रही है ना आपको, उतनी area में आप जाके up and down run कर लो. So I felt like 200-300 meters की light दिख रही है, उसमें जाके करता हूँ. But I went down and I started running, tracking with my watch. And it turned out to be a distance of 50 meters. Light उसके आगे पीछे नहीं थी. 50 मीटर के दायरे में ही light थी. So I started doing loops of 50 meters. And then after, I think maybe I would have done 500 meters, I started hearing some rustling of the leaves and I felt there was something in the bushes. I ran back up to the hotel and yeah, I didn't want to take a chance. I was like, zinda rahenge to streak hogi bhai. So I went back to the hotel and then the guy suggested, maybe you want to do this on the terrace. So I went on the terrace and I started running on the terrace. I was initially walking and then I realized this is too slow. And then I started running. But it really pissed me off that day. GPS signal in the hills screws up big time. It was despite me running as fast as I could in that circle of I think 20 meters or something, taking a U-turn every 20 meters, I was running, I was sweating in that cold. And despite that, the pace my watch was showing me was 18 to 19 minutes per kilometer. It took me an hour and 40 minutes to do that 5k. Even today I think whether that was worth it, really. But in any case, I stuck to it. I did not give up there. Because I was telling myself constantly that not every day is going to be as tough as this. Just manage today somehow, and the majority of the days are easy. So that's what I told myself, and I stuck to it, and I did it. There were a few more instances like this, like one last week when we were moving house, and I narrated that incident in the previous podcast episode. If you haven't heard that with Biplab, do go listen to it. Quite a few days, I ended up starting the run at 11:55 p.m. Such days happened especially during travel. So it happened like in different cities, and I ran at odd hours. But I did run, like I didn't give up. It was major for me. There were a few of these, but if you win such days, other days are a breeze. Majority of the days are a breeze. They're easy. But if the streak wasn't challenging, it will not change you. If it was easy, everyone would do it. So the streak effort has taught me a lot. Like it's changed me a lot. For one, it's changed my identity. From the most inconsistent guy who cannot do anything consistently, I've turned into somebody who's consistent. Like I identify with myself as somebody consistent. It has instilled in me self-belief. I can do anything that I put my mind to. And I think one of the biggest changes it has brought about is it has changed my focus from short term to long term. When you're somebody who can't do anything consistently, you can't even plan anything that's long term. Like आपको पता है वहां तक पहुंचते पहुंचते आप क्विट कर चुके होगे, आप छोड़ चुके होगे, तो आप प्लान ही क्यों करोगे लॉन्ग टर्म चीजें. But anything of significance, any greatness is only achieved by doing something day in, day out, week in, week out, month after month, like slogging it out there. That's how greatness is achieved. So when you learn to do a streak well, when your perspective changes from short term to long term, there's nothing that you can't do. Like given enough time, you can achieve any goal. Another thing it's taught me is learning to prioritize myself. Like every time I headed out for the day's 5K, it was a reinforcement of the fact that I am someone who prioritizes his health. Another great thing about the streak is that when in life you're not able to do much, like let's say you're busy with stuff and you're going through hard times and you're not able to prioritize your workouts and do much, your streak takes care of you. Like your streak will ensure that you run a certain distance. At the end of the month, you'll have 200 kilometers or 250 kilometers, even if you do the bare minimum in the bank. So it's pretty awesome that way. The way it works very well is that it takes decision making out of question. Like you don't have to decide. A lot of the times when I was inconsistent in past, I would contemplate for a long time what distance to run today. Like sometimes I would be over ambitious and say, I will do a 21 today, even though it's pretty late, because 21 and 2 is too much, or a 30K or whatever. You keep a goal which may not be rational for the day, and that might end up stopping you from running completely. But when you're doing a streak, you know what the minimum that has to be done is. So you head out to do the 5K, and if you have more time, you do more. But you don't have to think too much. Like you have to head out for a 5K, and when you're out of the door, you invariably end up running a lot more. Like my average for this entire duration it has been 10.5 kilometers. Like I ran, I think close to 4,000 kilometers last year, and this year as well, I think over 1,600 kilometers or something. I'll get the exact numbers in an Insta post, but that's the point. Like I set out to run 5K every day, but I ended up running 10.5K every day, like on an average. It has also taught me that when you show resolve, the world adjusts itself. People around you, once they know that you will do it no matter what, they start caring about it. They start caring about your goals and plans, and they try and plan things around it. They don't have to understand it, but I'm saying they do. Like a lot of the people around you do start caring about your goal. Don't expect it, but they might. That's what I'm saying. And like I mentioned in the beginning, there's another side to streaking. Let's discuss why people advise against it. 1, it'll get you injured. Well, it will if you run fast every day at the same pace. You have to vary your pace, and on the days you are tired and you need recovery, you can just walk. What's the big deal? 2nd, streaking is not the most optimal way to train. Well, that's true. It's not the most optimal way to train. That's why it's not for everyone. It's only for those who struggle to head out every day. This should be done to build a habit. This is not a training plan. If you already have a habit in place, please follow a structured training plan. Streaks promote perfection mindset rather than progress. That's true. That's a big downside. If a streak is broken, you are quite likely to just let it be, like, until you're quite likely to take a break, start later when you have the mental bandwidth to begin another streak. All of that is just wrong. Like, if you miss a day, you should just start. Your only aim should be to not miss the second one in a row. Like, your entire focus, the most important workout then becomes the following one. आज का miss हो गया, कल का नहीं होना चाहिए. So 2 in a day is the start of a new habit, as James Clear says. They say streaks can begin to feel like a burden. That's also true. But that's true with any pursuit of greatness, isn't it? It will at some point feel like a burden. So if you ask me, streaking has been fantastic for me. For anyone looking to achieve consistency and build confidence, must do a streak. You'll learn a great deal along the way. And it's not just in running. People do streaks of all kinds. Like, writers are known to do writing streaks to overcome the writer's block. One of the keys to success is overcoming resistance and mastering the art of showing up. Streaks teach you that. Just that. I highly recommend it. So I ran 5 kilometers every day for 531 days in a row this year and a weekly half marathon. But earlier this week, I had to break the streak. It's been unfortunate, but I had no choice. I was beginning to feel lower back pain. I'm not sure whether it's a sciatica nerve pain or something else. I'm yet to get a proper diagnosis on this, but it was excruciating. Like, there was no doubt that I should have stopped it. One thing was clear, that I wasn't even able to walk without exaggerating the pain. So for the first time in over a year and a half, I did not head out for my 5K. It was strange, it was a little sad, because I had imagined whenever I decide to end this successful streak that has taught me so much, I would invite my close friends to join me for the final 5K, and maybe we'll plan to do like a 5K personal best and end it in style. That didn't happen. It wasn't meant to be. But that's fine. I got more out of this streak than I had ever imagined. I came into it with zero confidence, and I've come out of it with an unshakable self-belief. If you're in a place where you need to regain some lost confidence, try a streak, my friend. Start small, build credibility with yourself by showing up every day, and then once it's a habit, you can take it to the next level. This was my experience with streaks. Have you tried any? What's been your experience? I'd love to hear from you. Let me know your thoughts in the comments or Insta DM, or write to me at ultravipin@gmail.com. So that's ultravipin@gmail.com. I cannot wait to hear from you. Thank you and have a great weekend, and I'll see you in July with a lineup of fantastic guests. Stay tuned and keep working on finding your ultra. Thank you for staying with us till the end. I really hope you enjoyed this episode. And if you did, please consider subscribing and also sharing it with your friends and family. If you have a takeaway or a learning from this episode, or it made you feel a certain way, you can leave us a comment or a review. This is a zero cost way of supporting the podcast. I really hope you will do it. Also, it is now a weekly podcast, so you can look forward to an episode every Friday. If you subscribe, you will get a notification when a new episode is released. So do it now. See you in the next episode next Friday. Until then, my friends, keep working on finding your ultra.